Hello again everyone and welcome back to my series on how to draw wild animals. Before we start, of course, if you could subscribe, that would be terrific. Thank you very much. And also, ring that little bell icon if you want to know what's coming up next. Okay, well, the wild animal today is a crocodile. And basically, I'm going to start with the head and the little kind of bumps where the eyes are. So a little bump there, like that. And it's kind of 3/4 way position of the head, so that's that bump there. The other eye bump comes in on the other side of that flat bit of head there, like that. And imagine that as an eyebrow. Well, below that, you'll have the actual eye itself coming in like that. Okay? And then, of course, we have the fearsome jaws wide open here. It slopes up like that. Now kind of bump at the end, like that. See a little bit of the front, and then rather than a straight line, it kind of comes down in little kind of half circle shapes like that, all down to the actual end of the mouth, which is down on almost like a smiley curve, like that. But then there's a flap of skin. That's actually where the mouth stops, but in fact there's a flap of skin that appears there, and the actual mouth shape continues down like that to a point there. This flap of skin has got kind of wrinkles on it, like that. Okay. The other side of the mouth comes in about here. We'll see a wee bit of the underside actually of the top part of the snout. So we're kind of doing that kind of thing, joining up there, and that's the kind of front going across. And of course the nostrils are on the top, you don't really see them. And of course this part here was filled with the fearsome teeth, a couple of small ones, a large one, and then kind of 3 large ones like that, and a bit of a gap, and another couple like that. And then the same on this side, the big one coming in here, and some small ones, and then really kind of big ones mirroring these ones here, coming down like that, and then some more carrying on down to that part of the jaw there. The bottom part is open, coming down at that angle, and again, rather than a straight line, you're going to get a kind of curve like that, and another curve coming down to the bottom, almost some bottom lip if you like, to there, and there's the inside of the mouth coming up like that, and that line will follow the curve there, another big curve opposite there, joining on to that big skin flap that I was telling you about, which comes in probably about there. So all this is covered by the flap. Now we're looking down the crocodile's throat here, so you get this kind of very dark shape in there, and the tongue coming in just below there like that. And of course we have this is the inside of the mouth there, and down the bottom part, of course, we have teeth as well. So these teeth sticking up, a few small ones and a big one, carrying on around the other side. And as you come around the front, more teeth here, a couple of big ones there, and then some more big ones like that, and a row of smaller ones, and they kind of go on at different angles like that. Bottom part of the jaw starts from here and curves right round, almost up to the end of the skin flap there. Okay, and a nice big curve. But underneath, of course, we have the kind of belly of the throat first of all, and then the kind of belly came around here of the crocodile. See that shape? And of course, a very sinewy shape, so the head itself will continue down like that, but the back of the crocodile will curve up like that. Now, the back of the crocodile has a kind of flat area on it, so that's one edge, and the other edge will start about there and continue. I'm just putting these guidelines in just now. So that flat area is like that. Now, if the tail is turning around this way, which is the way I want to draw it, coming down like that, then this flat area will continue across join at the top of the tail here, and that will continue and double up and then disappear around there. So the flat bit is going around the back of the tail. Okay, so you get that kind of shape there. Okay, and on this flat shape here, we have kind of bumps running right along like that. And they're raised up slightly, so you get that kind of look there, right along the ridge there, and the bottom of the ridge comes in like that. And on this side too, you're going to get the lumps. Continue. I'm just sketching them in quickly just now, and the top of the ridge you'll see like that, because the actual slope down is on the other side there. But as it turns in, then you will see, like that, you will see the slope of the ridge coming up, like that. Okay? And on this part here, we have more ridges running across the way, so you get that kind of shape, curving shape like that. And of course it moves around like that. On the back of the tail we have these great dinosaur-like ridges running right along to the end there. And then what we're doing is we're going to curve around the scales of the crocodile, curve around the shape of the body, and in this case the tail, so it's kind of, don't do a smooth circle, they kind of do a wee wiggle like that as it's coming up, you know. And the easy way to draw the scales is just to draw the upright like that, and then to draw a line going across. And when you're refining it, I'll show you how to do it, how to create the actual shapes of the scales properly themselves. But that checker shape is how you start it off. Okay, and the back of the crocodile will come down here. And imagine that curving right around under the belly of the crocodile, coming in like that. And the legs, a fat kind of squashy leg at the back here, curving around like that. And then it's great feet coming to nail points there. And the toes, the great nails in them. And in between, of course, we have the web like that, okay? And again, we draw the scales, we round the shape of the body, around the shape of the legs here. And as I said, I'll show you how to make them look properly like scales in a second, but I'm just going to, again, do the kind of check shapes coming up like that. So what you do is now, these are the individual scales, but they're not like that. They're not very, you know, straight and clean. Basically what they are is that they're kind of rounded, like that. Some are almost round. So what you do is, once you've drawn those, you can get your pencil, your pen, and start to go around those shapes and give them nice rounded edges, like that. You see they already start to get that kind of crocodile quality to them. Okay? Right, exactly the same round there with these cross shapes. And the body, the same thing, get your uprights following the curve, nice big fat curve here coming right around, like that. And the cross lines coming up, again following the kind of shape, like that. More to do there, like that. Around to the front leg, which comes down, you can imagine an angle coming down from there, and this is where the front leg, you won't see the other two, they're around the other side. But that comes in, again, nice big fat curve, and down to the, again, these spread out, fat, fearsome looking, almost like fat fingers, you know, with the great cruel talons in the end, like that. Another one there. and of course a bit of webbing in between. Okay, so there's the basic shape. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carry on and putting in the lines of the scales. For instance, round about here, there isn't really much in the way of scales around here or on the head. But around about the neck, they start. You get another kind of line coming in, kind of there. And these scales, first of all, are actually quite small compared to the other ones. So you get a lot of lines going together like that, coming around and then kind of disappearing. And then, of course, we're going to get the cross lines appearing in there. And, of course, as I said later, we'll put in the proper scale shapes. Just have to be patient and work on it. Okay, and there's finishing off the guidelines now for the scales. And I've done that. So what I'm going to do next is get a fine point pen and find it out there. And I'll start to work on the scales from the tip of the tail right around here. And again, you know, it'll take a bit of time, but it's worth spending some time over. You know, again, you don't have to do a straight line, be a bit wiggle line to get the sensation of the quality of the skin, crocodile skin. And then, as I said, you know, go into your shapes and start to put in these rounded corners and so on. Give the impression of the real crocodile skin, like that. Okay. You even break some of them up, make some of them smaller. Because some of them are quite random, you know, they're not very regimented. Like that, right to the tip. And carry on with my guidelines here. Okay, some nice big ones and smaller ones. Okay, so you see how they're working out? Looking, getting the quality of the crocodile skin now. So I'm going to continue to do that. And let's catch up, you know, when I've done a bit more. Okay, as you can see, I'm still working my way carefully, using my guidelines to produce a really nice crocodile skin effect. See that all around here? It's worth taking your time and just carefully working around each scale like that. Okay. As I said, as they come nearer the head, they become smaller. So you get that row, for instance, and they're looking really quite small, as long as you follow that guideline there. And the next row is above that one, and so on. And getting slightly bigger. As we come up here, oh, a few more guidelines I forgot there. Right, they just continue that line there. And so on right to the top, and then they kind of peter out. Like that, into kind of wrinkles of the crocodile's skin. See that around about its mouth and it's wide open. Right, again, I'll just continue with this. This thought I'd give you a quick update how I was doing. Okay, I'll catch you later. Okay, I've been working my way around the scales. I'm moving up now to the kind of finer bits of wrinklage that he has on his snout here. And basically, you'll get little kind of wrinkly lines coming around from the top, and also lots of little circular spots and stuff like that to give a impression of the skin. Like that, just put some marks on like that. You can even add marks along here. You know, the more kind of roughness you give to the quality of the skin, the better it'll look. Like that. And down to this kind of flap here, again, not such a heavy line. I've used a more heavy line around the outside, but within the actual drawing itself, the lines are fairly fine. And you get these lines, kind of broken lines curving around from the lower part of the jaw there. See that? And also up from here. You can break them up a bit like that, and of course kind of wrinkles around the eye socket there and coming down towards the back of the mouth. And these wrinkles continue. That kind of flap shape there, which continues in the big kind of loop, curving in like that. These lines will continue into the jawline, or they kind of join up with those curved lines there. Now into the throat, we've got this kind of shape here, and the tongue shape coming in there. This is where you don't want to go, down here. You make that nice and dark. And a bit of shading in there. Give the sense of the inside of the croc's mouth. Get in there. And the other side. And we can leave a little highlight for the eye and just make it black like that, okay? And then this part of the tongue kind of lying down there. And more kind of marking shapes as you come down towards the front, like that. Okay, now I'm going to get a rubber and I'll rub out some of the pencil lines and clean it up, see how it looks. Right, I was working on the mouth here, but I think what I did actually was take this darkness down with a bit of white paint, because I'm going to imagine the light coming in here. So it's darker on this side. So the outside edge of the crocodile's mouth is darker. And round here too. All these little lines coming around. And as I said, lots of little warty shapes come in to darken that bit down too. Okay. This is the kind of open mouth shape you want to get here. And this is a lot darker coming around towards the front of the mouth, like that. Okay. That's a lot better. And of course, as I said, along here, you can bring in these kind of dark shapes as well. Of course, you do have that quality on the crocodile skin as you come along here. You get some of the scales which are dark and have shapes on them, like that. Okay. Well, I think that'll do for now. I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you can join me again for another tutorial very soon. But in the meantime, of course, all the best and happy drawing.